Well, for more, we're going to cross now to our correspondent in Lebanon, Rawad Taha. Hi, Rawad. So, can you give us an update then about what we know about this Israeli fire, which was reported, of course, in several locations in the south?
So, up until this moment, as you mentioned, 15 people have been killed, out of which 14 are civilians who were trying to return to their towns and homes in southern Lebanon, and one soldier from the Lebanese armed forces, from the Lebanese army, was also killed today. This is the greatest escalation since the ceasefire came into ceasefire. Israel should have fully withdrawn its troops by the deadline of today. So earlier this morning at 5 a.m., the ceasefire was supposed to be transitioned into a full scale ceasefire that is not subject to any time or any or framing. Yet the Israelis have decided last week that they are staying in southern Lebanon, according to their own reasons, is that Lebanon did not fully implement its terms of the agreement. This is mainly concerning the deployment of the Lebanese armed forces. The Lebanese armed forces indeed say that they cannot enter any Lebanese town or village before the Israelis actually withdraw out of that town. So we're left with the scene that we're seeing today. Hundreds of people, mainly pushed by Hezbollah and its ally Amal movement, as well as many people who are eager to just return back to their homes. We've seen also a number of Hezbollah parliament members and Amal movement parliament members being present on the ground with people in their move today to try to reach their towns and villages. From the early morning hours, we saw that indeed the people were able to reach a number of towns and villages which were located very close to the border, but Israel had either withdrawn overnight. We know that Israel has left a number of villages overnight, especially on the western part of the border and on the middle part of the border. However, most of the clashes are now in the eastern side of the border. That is where Israel still has full operational control over a number of villages in the eastern side of the border. The people of southern Lebanon who have tried to attempt to reach those villages were not able to do so, as well as the Lebanese army. However, indeed, only a few villages still remain under Israeli control as of today.
What do you think that this means for the future of the ceasefire deal then? Is it likely to hold given some of those challenges that you just outlined there?
Indeed, in particular, one important thing to highlight is the fact that this is a moment where we're seeing Hezbollah is not using its force as a matter of fact. All statements by Hezbollah parliament members and Hezbollah officials mentioned that after the 60 days are over, one would expect something different from Hezbollah. So a lot of people were worrying about Hezbollah restarting its military campaign against Israeli soldiers, which that in itself could lead to the total collapse of the deal. But the scene we saw today is very telling, that Hezbollah decided to not do that and instead support the people of the villages, who are predominantly also Hezbollah supporters, in their civilian non-military move. So you have a confrontation between civilians of those villages and the Israeli army. So as a matter of fact, if we don't see any direct intervention by Hezbollah, it is very possible that there could be some sort of an agreement that is reached. There are three scenarios possibly. The first one is that we see a faster rate of a faster Israeli withdrawal from the Lebanese towns, such as the withdrawals we've seen overnight. So there is a lot of pressure by Lebanon on the international community to actually make sure that Israeli soldiers leave the Lebanese towns and villages as soon as possible. That is the first scenario. We've seen also a lot of international pressure on Israel to actually withdraw from southern Lebanon. The second scenario is that Israel still maintains some sort of a control over a number of villages where the army wasn't able to enter today, in some sort of an extended agreement for those areas. And the third scenario, which is unlikely to happen, at least given what we saw today from this civilian non-military move coming from Lebanon, is possibly the collapse of the deal. So the next few hours are quite very telling to understand to which situation this is heading. But for now, it is very evident that even with this, with the catastrophe today of the killing of 15 civilians, it seems that neither of both sides are seeking a full-scale war again.
All right, Rawad Taha will, of course, be keeping an eye on those developments as the situation continues to evolve. Thank you very much.